Hey everybody, welcome to this video guide for Batman Arkham Knight on the Xbox Series X. Today we are completing the AR challenge Crime Alley and we are getting 3 stars on it while playing as Red Hood. So before we get started on the challenge, I would like to say if you are looking for a guide for any of the other characters, I have made a video guide for each one of the characters, so take a look at the description or click the card on the top right if you want to watch any of those other videos if you are struggling with any of the other characters. Now, with all of that said, let's get into some combat tips. So let's talk about some tips for making sure you don't take any damage when you are completing these levels. Personally, I'd recommend that you go with the method of hitting, dodging, and hitting. So you want to get in a rhythm of hitting, evading, so you can jump over an enemy, just jump away, etc., and then hitting once again. This allows you to sort of avoid needing to counter, avoid incoming blade attacks, or any other attack that cannot be blocked or countered. So that way you're not taking unnecessary damage because you're not personally prepared to counter, press Y or whatever to try to avoid that damage. Evading is what I personally like to do, and if you do this and also consider what the enemies are armed with, so that would be a shield or a taser, things like that, you'll have a better idea of how to react in certain situations. If you ensure that you are always dodging, you can reorient yourself and prepare yourself for the next attack you will need to perform, whether that be an attack to take down a shield enemy, a beatdown on a brute, a regular attack, or even preparing yourself for a counter. Giving yourself that extra time when evading will benefit you greatly between each attack, and allow you to avoid damage extremely easily as well. So remember, you want to get into a rhythm of hitting, dodging, and then hitting once again, and just keep that up. That is going to benefit you greatly. Of course, there are circumstances where you need to perform a special attack, like using the back claw to sort of disable the electricity surrounding an enemy, but those are exceptions to the rule and to the rhythm of hitting, dodging, and hitting. Now that we have got all of those tips out of the way, let's get started with this AR challenge. Alright, so starting up round number 1, we are going to be taking a look at the enemies. The only enemies you need to be concerned about with round number 1 would be the bladed enemies, and then of course the enemy with a shield. Personally, I'd recommend that you target the bladed enemy first, get a perfect counter on them and knock them out. And then I'd recommend you get the shield out of the enemy's hands, and then from there the free flow will be really easy, and you can build up your combo as high as possible. And then at the end of the round you will get the no hit bonus and the perfect free flow bonus, which will result in a really good bonus at the end of your very first round, which sets you on a good path to achieve 3 stars. Alright, now with all of that info out of the way, before we get started, I am going to be putting the buttons on the screen, so the button prompts sort of indicating what attack that I am using, so that way I can further illustrate the method that I mentioned in the combat tips section where I am hitting and evading. So you'll clearly see that I am hitting and evading, and it is just a pattern of keeping that up to easily build up your combo. Alright, with all that said, let's get started with round number 1. Alright, so like I said, we are going right away for the perfect counter on the bladed enemy. They attack me, so it is a really easy counter to get right off the bat. And then I am just continuing to hit and evade and build up my combo, waiting for the chance to take down the enemy with the shield. You can see I go for it right here, and then from here on out, it is just really easy to keep building up my combo, keep building up that free flow, and just not even worrying about getting hit because I'm hitting and evading. Alright, now that we have completed that round, let's take a look at the combat summary. You can see we got the no hit bonus and the perfect free flow bonus, and we completed the very first round with 5,000 points. That is a really good start to the first round. Now let's move on to the second one. Alright, so starting up round number 2, the enemies that we are going to be concerned with in this round would be the enemy that is holding the taser, and then the 2 riot shield enemies. So my recommendation is to focus on the enemy with the taser right away, and then get the shields out of the enemy's hands as soon as possible, so that way you can have an extremely easy free flow and not worry about getting blocked or getting damaged, and get those no hit and perfect free flow bonuses at the end of the round. Now let's get started with round number 2. Alright, so starting up round number 2, like I said, we are going to be focusing on the 2 enemies with the riot shield. For me, I went for them first, but really the taser is the largest threat, so you might want to go for them first. I guess I didn't. That's my personal preference, to go for the taser first to get out of the way. But you see, I just targeted all 3 of them really quickly, and all 3 of them were down. So those are the major threats taken care of, and now it is just a matter of keeping up my free flow, hitting and evading, hitting and evading and continuously knocking out the enemies. And that one was honestly a really quick round after I took out those main threats. So let's take a look at our combat summary. That was 7,000 points, and a good chunk of it came from the perfect free flow and the no hit bonuses. Now let's move on to round number 3. Alright, so starting up our third round, we don't have too many troublesome enemies really, but we do have some varied sort of bothersome obstacles, I would say. So we do have the enemy with a gun, we do have a medic in the back over there, and then we do have the 2 riot shield enemies. Personally, I'd recommend that you focus on the medic and the gun first off, so you can do either or first, but I'd personally go for the gun and then the medic, and then you want to take down the enemies with the riot shield, so that way you have a very easy free flow. The reason you want to take down the gun is pretty obvious. You'll get hit from a distance if you do not, but you want to take down the medic as soon as possible because they can electrify enemies. And remember, if an enemy is electrified, you can disable that electric barrier using the backclaw or the zip kick. I'm not sure which one Red Hood uses. I'm pretty sure it's a zip kick. But anyways, just remember that the medics aren't only just going to revive enemies, they are going to electrify them, which makes the round even harder. So target the medics first off, and then worry about everybody else, and try to keep your free flow up as much as possible, get as high a combo as possible, and do not take any damage to get that perfect free flow and that no hit bonus to really get a good boost on your points. Alright, now let's get started with round number 3. Alright, so right off the bat, you can see I go for the takedown on the enemy with a shield, just so that way I can get deeper into the enemies. Then I disabled the electrified enemy and then took down another riot shield enemy. Now I am focusing on the area that the medic is in, and I am taking them out as soon as possible. You see I got a lucky punch there and got them out with a critical strike. Now another enemy picked up the gun, so I am taking them out, and just continuing to take down the enemies with these shields and watching the gun, making sure it does not get picked up. And unfortunately, I did get hit by that knife there, so if you can do your best to avoid taking any damage and avoid your free flow being interrupted at all, you'll actually have a really good shot at getting a ton of points here. But I unfortunately messed up, but I still managed to get the perfect free flow in the following round, so I still got 3 stars. So as long as you get 3 rounds with perfect free flow and no hit bonuses, you should be good. But unfortunately here, I just wasn't able to do that in round number 3. No matter, because all I need is 17,000 points, and we are going to get enough in round number 4. Alright, so starting up our final round, we are going to be taking a look at the enemies one last time. In this round, we have 2 medics, we have 2 enemies that are holding guns, and then we have 3 riot shield enemies. So just like the previous round, we are going to be focusing on the enemies with the guns, then the enemies with the medics. Those 2 can actually be swapped if you feel like it. You don't need to target them immediately, but you should just focus on them right off the bat and get them out of the picture as soon as possible. And then we are going to be focusing on the riot shield enemies, so that way we have a very easy time with our free flow. I do normally go after the riot shield enemies right away, but I don't focus on them as much as I would on the medics or the guns. So just do your best to maintain the order that I have outlined. You want to particularly make sure that you get rid of the medics as soon as possible, since they do electrify enemies. And remember, you can disable the electrified enemies with the backclaw / zip kick. I think Red Hood has zip kick, I'm still not too sure. It looks like it's a zip kick, right? But anyways, you can use the backclaw or zip kick to disable those enemies, so that way you don't have to worry about them. But if you can really just take out the medics as soon as possible, so you don't even need to worry about that being a factor when you are fighting, then you'll be all the more better off to get a perfect free flow and a no hit bonus at the end of this round. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our final round. Alright, so starting up the round, right away I'm going for the riot shield enemy just to get it out of the way. I disabled that electrified enemy, I knocked out the enemies with the guns, and then from here it is just a matter of keeping up my free flow, saving up my special attacks for the medics. Right here I used the special attack on the medic right away, and then we are taking down the guns that pop up. Any enemies that are electrified, immediately take care of them, and then finally I use the special attack on the second medic, and now both medics are down. All I need to really worry about would be the guns and the riot shields. So taking care of the guns whenever they pop up and taking down any riot shield enemies as soon as they pick them up, just so that way my free flow isn't really interrupted. And then from here you can see I'm really close to getting 3 stars. I just need 10,000 as long as I keep my free flow and get that free flow bonus at the end of the round. I'll definitely get it, no problem. You can see I'm really close just by doing normal free flow here. So keeping up my free flow is definitely really beneficial, especially in this final round. With that last punch, I get 3 stars, and that is the end of this AR challenge. Let's take a look at the final score. Final score is 42,000. You only need 35,000 to reach 3 stars, so it's definitely really easy to get 3 stars with the hit and evade combo and making sure you target those priority enemies that I always point out whenever we start up a round. Alright, and that is about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please stick around and subscribe to my channel for more content like this one. Drop a like if you did enjoy and appreciate the video, and drop a comment if you have any suggestions for any guides that you'd like to see from my channel. Please do let me know. I'll do my best to create a guide for you so that way, I can help you out the best I can. Anyways, with all that said, once again, thank you for watching and have a great day.